cop on a grand scale.
Clinton Van Zandt was at Waco as the FBI's chief hostage negotiator. He says David Koresh fit one of the classic profiles for suicide by cop. He was afraid of going to prison.
Koresh told me one-on-one on the phone when I was talking to him about coming out. And he said, oh no, he said, I'm not coming out. He says, they're going to put me in jail with Bubba, and I know what Bubba's going to do to me.
Koresh sent out this video knowing it would provoke the government to act.
They would see that he was controlling those children, and they would be afraid and feel like they needed to get those children out of there.
But David Koresh had booby-trapped the compound, and the first shots fired sparked an inferno that killed him and over 80 others. Like Koresh, this San Diego cop killer knew that suicide by cop doesn't look like suicide.
It may be someone who doesn't want people to look at them as some sad sack who just put a gun to their head and pulled the trigger. They would rather be looked at as kind of a hero who stood up for law enforcement and fought to the end.
That same motivation drives many high-speed chases.
His plan is to have the cops come out, and he's going to pretend he has a gun, so they'll shoot him. Suicide by cop. Right? Yeah.
He's on the gas station side!
It looks like an ordinary holdup in Northern California, but when Carlos Machado walks out of a gas station, he flashes police a secret smile. Earlier, Machado stole his pistol, then stole a car, then he drove crazily until police gave chase. He pulls into the gas station and waits until the police and the news cameras catch up.
What's more controlling than to know you have a whole police department and chase after you? He clearly knows what he wants to do.
And he does it. Machado turns, raises his pistol at police, and waits for the desired response. In Bakersfield, California, a 25-year-old mother of three leads police on a 90-mile-an-hour chase. When she's pulled over, she raises a pistol at the police negotiator. After his high-speed chase, New York college student Mo Pergament threatened police with this toy gun. After they shot him to death, they found this note. Dear officer, I'm sorry to get you involved. I just needed to die.
He's just shooting at anything in sight.
It was an earlier note which first identified the phenomenon of suicide by cop. In 1981, William Griffin walked into a bank near his home in Rochester, New York.
Took over the bank and then fired at least 100 rounds, wounding police officers, civilians at least a block away.
Griffin took hostages, then ordered the bank manager to call the FBI negotiator, Clinton Van Zandt. The manager repeated Griffin's one bizarre demand.
Either you come to the front door and kill him at 3 o'clock or he's going to kill a hostage.
It was too weird. The FBI was not in the assisted suicide business, and rarely has a hostage ever been killed on a deadline. That was about to change. At 3 o'clock, Griffin sees Margaret Moore, a single mom whose son turned 10 that day.
I'm very sorry his mother wasn't there as he grew up.
At the bank door, Griffin shot Margaret Moore twice. Then he placed his head against a window where a sniper put a hole in it. Van Zandt found Griffin's diary, where he wrote of his plan to take over a bank and force police to kill him.
And people died while he facilitated his own death at our hands.
Now, many police are trained to recognize when a standoff is really suicide by cop, like this domestic dispute in Los Angeles.
Put the knife down. Down, please. Down, please, sir. Sir, please.
The man is a threat to both police and himself.
Sir, put the knife down.
Listen, he's my...
Sir, you have to move up.
The police are patient.
Hey, relax, bro. Put the knife down.
Stand by, Tom. We got time. We got time. We got all the time in the world. If you tell me.
When the situation starts to overheat, police act, but with a non-lethal stun gun.
The unhappy part of that is, more than likely, this person will do it again.
There's another unhappy part, and that's the other victim in a suicide by cop, the officer. Studies show that many of the officers involved in these shootings will be so traumatized they'll soon quit law enforcement.
So who are the victims? I think the police officers that have to carry this the rest of their lives.
A researcher at the Harvard Medical School studying 425 police shootings in LA County between '87 and '97 found that nearly 1 in 6 were suicides by cop.